The following program is intended for mature audiences.
TBS, America's #1 independent television network, presents the following sports exclusive.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And check out every episode of the show at basicallysports.tumblr.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
The absolute worst!
Moving over to the National Football Conference, the NFC East, we start with the team that is America's, the Dallas Cowboys. Over under win total 9.
Honestly, I'm gonna say below. I'm gonna say under. Look, I've kind of come to a realization, kind of an epiphany, if you will. I think that they are going to be much better with Ezekiel Elliott actually suiting up for them. I think he was smart to do what he did because this team is absolutely awful without him. But I've kind of come to the conclusion that Dak Prescott, like I love the guy. I think he's great as like a personality. I think he's got like I like his he just seems like so legitimately happy to be out there. So I can't help but like him.
But he's not very good.
I think he's the Jeff Fisher of quarterbacks. I think like 8-8 is going to be like the 7-9 to 9-7 window is his upside, and I think 8-8 is about right. So I'm going to say under.
And you know this guy wants $30 million a year in his next contract, Dak Prescott. Are you kidding me? Really?
God.
Yeah, 9 wins in this division. Boy, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go with the push. I think 9 sounds about exactly right for these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to be okay. Zeke Elliott signed, right? He's back in the fold?
Yeah.
So
8 years, $102 million.
Holy cow. Good for you, Zeke. So with him back in there, they're going to be tough. With the Eagles, so you just don't know with Carson Wentz what he's going to do. Like if Wentz goes out, the Cowboys, you can probably pick up another win in there.
Now, I will say I think the Cowboys are going to come in second in this division because I don't like Washington or New York, but
you know what? I'm going to change that. I'm going to take the Cowboys over. I'm going to go 10 to 11 wins.
Oh.
I think that they're going to have it's going to be like they did 2 years ago where they kind of snuck up on everybody and went 12-4. They're going to have another one of those years. So I'm going on the over on the Cowboys, and I think they're going to win the division. Where are you at? What do you think, Zach?
Oh, they were 10-6 last year. I agree that I don't think Washington or the Giants are very good at all. And I guess it all depends on how good Philly is. Is Carson Wentz really back to being himself or what? I'll say over. I think they can get to it was 9, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they can get to 10 again. I'm not going to get on the fence, but I do think that if Carson Wentz is good to go, then it's going to be a much tougher fight for the division, and maybe it's just 9 to win the whole thing. But I'll go over on the Cowboys for now.
All right. And speaking of the Eagles, their over under total is 10.5.
9-7 a year ago.
Honestly, I'm kind of all in on them in terms of the division. Maybe not to reach the Super Bowl, but and I'm taking a gamble on Wentz, but I'm gonna say he returns to form and they win the division.
I think I'm going to go, slightly under on this. I think they're going to be a playoff contending team, but I don't know if you can keep Carson Wentz on the field. And like Zach said, we don't even know how healthy he is right now. And something about Philadelphia, they're not good at sustained success. And I think that they take a little bit of a step back this year. I don't know. What's that coach's name again? Stu Peterson?
Doug Peterson.
Doug Peterson. Stu
former Brown quarterback.
I thought Stu was the Browns quarterback. Maybe they both were. But I don't know. Maybe he's a great coach. I'm not so sure. But I think I like the Cowboys over the Eagles in this division. I'm going to put the Eagles at just below 10 at 9. So
yeah, I think 9's probably right. it depends on we have no idea what Carson Wentz is.
Let me
be really honest.
Let me put to rest all your doubts about the Philadelphia Eagles. If Carson Wentz falters, and I'm going to have faith and say that he won't, but if he does, they got Josh McCown.
Oh, why didn't you say so?
Josh McCown came out of retirement to sign with the Eagles.
Oh, I feel a whole lot better now. Josh McCown.
Which was good because I was not ready for a McCown-less NFL quite yet, and so I'm happy that he's suited up again.
So, yeah, for those of you that don't know, the official quarterback of Basically a Sports Show back in the league with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Came out of retirement.
What a guy. 15th team or 16th?
15th.
15th team, so he's almost halfway there.
Yeah, he's already got close to half the league.
Yeah, I think, they have a lot of great pieces on offense. I do love the Eagles offense. It's just, is Carson Wentz the MVP candidate he was his first year? Right, exactly. Got injured. Or is he a guy coming off an injury? Is he going to be a fine quarterback, not a great quarterback? Nobody has any idea, I don't think. Right. I mean, the Eagles believed in him enough to get rid of Nick Foles, so I guess that should be enough confidence behind him, but I haven't seen it with my own eyes quite yet, so I'll say 9 is probably right also.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see them do well and, knock out the Cowboys, but I think the Cowboys might just have a little more. Plus, they picked up Randall Cobb, one of my guys from the Packers. And the Cowboys' biggest problem is their ownership and their coaching. I think if you had a legitimate, Jason Garrett, what they call him, the clapper on. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that he's a bad coach. He's not Hugh Jackson bad, but he's not good. I mean, you put a real.
I also don't think Dak Prescott's all that good.
No, I don't either. I don't. I really don't. When I heard he was asking for $30 million, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you're worth $30 million, what the fuck's Baker Mayfield worth? You know?
Yeah, I know that we shouldn't listen to Skip Bayless about anything ever, but he wanted Dak Prescott to get double the money that Jared Goff was going to get. It's like,
are you kidding me,
dude?
Well,
No,
that's just a total hot take there.
Oh, of course it is.
Okay, anyway, on to the New York Football Giants. Over under.
This is going to be a bad team.
six wins.
Boy, under.
Quarterbacked by the decaying corpse of Eli Manning.
And his backup his backup Edsel Jones.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel, whatever.
Who Giants fans were declaring like the second coming of Jesus in the preseason.
Yeah, he had a preseason. They went 4-0 in the preseason, boys.
Yeah, well, my Cleveland Browns did that.
The Cleveland Browns a few years back.
Didn't the Lions go 4-0 the year they went 0-16 too?
Yeah, the two 0-16 teams both went undefeated in the preseason.
I will love when Ezekiel Elliott, who spent all of training camp on a beach in Cabo San Lucas, comes in and runs for 200 yards.
Right.
That's the only time I think the Cowboys will be entertaining, is when Zeke Elliott comes off sipping margaritas for 4 weeks to just be an all-star in week 1. That'll be funny.
They've got Saquon Barkley. Okay.
He's really damn good.
He's really good, but that's all.
Really damn good.
That's all they've got. They've got Eli Manning and they've got Edsel Smith, and that's it.
I really hope Saquon Barkley doesn't become the next Larry Fitzgerald, where we're all like, this guy's like,
or Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders, like, this is an all-time great, and he's being wasted on this garbage team.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, oh my God, I just think of Larry Fitzgerald on a good team for all those years. What would he have done? But anyway, I digress. But yeah, I think we're all agreement under 6 for the Giants.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a bad team.
The best thing about this team will be their uniforms. That's all I can tell you.
Peyton Manning might not complete the season because his arm might fall off.
That's okay.
So not Peyton, Eli Manning.
Edsel Smith is there to take his place, so we're good.
That's Edsel Smith.
I don't even know where you got that.
It's just, common, I don't know.
Common name, Edsel.
That was
top of all the baby books.
Yeah, right, exactly. That was just Greg trying to be funny. The Redskins of Washington, run by the best owner in all of sports.
I had forgotten that we were still talking about them. I forgot that we even had to talk about them. I was already looking at the next division already.
Over under 6.5. Wow, really?
Who is even the quarterback?
Case Keenum or Dwayne Haskins.
Oh, right.
Now, I'm going to tell you this. I watched Dwayne Haskins play at Ohio State. I am not a football scout, but somebody's got to show me what they saw in this guy because I never saw it.
Okay.
Never.
Okay.
Oh, God. The starting quarterback is Case Keenum, and the second string is Dwayne Haskins. No.
Third string is Colt McCoy.
Who's injured.
Now keep it.
Fourth string is currently Alex Smith, who also...
The only reason this isn't the worst QB room is because Oakland exists.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, this is pretty dire.
I mean, I don't have a thing in the world against Dwayne Haskins, but I don't know what anybody saw in him. I just don't see it. I didn't see it at Ohio State. I couldn't believe he went in the first round. And Case Keenum is Nick Foles, is Matt Flynn, is all the way back to that dude with the Jesus hair. I can't remember his name anymore. All the way,
Charlie Whitehurst.
Charlie Whitehurst. That's what we're dealing with here. I don't know why we have not seen any evidence at any point along the way that Case Keenum is an everyday.
He had that one good season in Minnesota.
Yeah, but he's not. I just don't get it. But anyway,
and then he imploded in the NFC title game.
This division is very top heavy with the Eagles and the Cowboys at the top, and you've just got some serious garbage at the bottom with the Redskins and the Giants.
I mean, I honestly don't know who's worse between Washington and New York, but they're both going to be bad.
I would say New York by a hair just because I think that the Redskins have a little more talent, but it's going to be bad either way. So
that's fighting for the number 1 overall pick between those two.
Right. So who do we like? I'm liking the Cowboys to win the East.
Eagles. I'm going Eagles.
Yeah, I think I picked Cowboys. If Carson Wentz goes off, then Eagles. But as of right now, for what I can see,
I can't deal with the Cowboys as division winners because god damn, that'd be infuriating. Also, it's entirely possible.
Last year,
I mean, who's the coach for the Washington Redskins? It's Jay Gruden.
Yeah.
We could have a situation. We could have a situation where the Grudens have the worst and second worst teams in the league this year.
I think John Gruden survives the season. I'm not so sure Jay does.
No Gruden Bowl this year, guys.
No Gruden Bowl this year. All right, so there you go. That's the NFC, or excuse me, the NFC North. We like Zach and I like the Cowboys. East, what I say, North?
Yeah.
NFC East, Zach and I like the Cowboys. Mike likes the Eagles, and none of us like the Giants or the Redskins. And from the NFC East, we head north to the NFC Norris division. Home of my Green Bay Packers and Andy's Chicago Bears. And
no one's Detroit Lions.
Old school Vikings fans, Vikings, and no one's Detroit Lions. Exactly.
Gary's Detroit Lions. Gary likes There you go, Gary. Gary finally gets a shout out on the show. There you go, Gary. Yeah, there you go.
He'll be smiling for days. Up first, the Chicago Bears of Chicago. Over under win total, a mere 9, coming off a 12-4 season.
Over.
Man, I want to say over. That defense is great. Khalil Mack is great.
Yep.
But Mitch, I love Titties Trubisky, man.
Trust in the titties.
No.
I trust in the titties. It's the quarterback I have no faith in.
Ay.
If scoring points for the Chicago offense meant just looking at a lot of naked breasts, I'd be fine with that. But that's not what we need here. We need a quarterback.
Look, the defense is great, and we'll keep them in every single game this season. I don't think that's a doubt. But
they're going to lose tomorrow night to the Packers.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, Greg. I have to pick Andy's Bears over your Packers.
That's okay. So am I. So don't worry about it.
I think the Bears win this division.
You like them over or under 9 wins?
Over.
Okay.
I like them over. I don't know. I'm not as down on Mitch as some people seem to be. They've got a fantastic defense, and I think Mitch just has to be serviceable.
Yep.
Now,
see,
granted,
I was never up. It's like I just don't think the guy's good.
Now, granted, no, you're never going to win a Super Bowl with a game manager quarterback. Like that's just not going to happen. That just doesn't happen.
I thought you said a gay manager quarterback, not a game. I was like, why not?
No. He's very not much. Mitch is very much not gay. He's into the titties.
But we agree, a gay quarterback could win, right? So
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
just making sure.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers has a Super Bowl, so you know.
True. I forget what that joke was that Admiral made about him, Olivia Munn being his beard, but it was fucking hysterical, and I loved it.
Beard's named Olivia Munn.
Right, exactly.
But
that ain't even right, man. I'm sorry, Aaron. If you're gay, leave her to the rest of us. What are you doing? All right, go ahead.
But basically, I don't think Mitch is going to lead him to a Super Bowl, but I think it's good enough to win the division. And I mean, the Packers, man, they were beaten up to hell last year. They finally got rid of McCarthy, which is a step in the right direction. But I don't know how much mileage Aaron Rodgers has left.
Right.
So
and they've lost a few things too. But so all right. So back to the Bears for a minute. So you're going over, not over 9.
Over.
Zach,
I'll go over 9. Yeah.
I think I'm going to go over 9 too. I think I'm going to say 10, possibly 11. And I'm with Mike. If Mitch Trubisky can just keep himself out of trouble, this team's going to be dangerous every single game. And I like them to win the division. Anything else on the Bears, guys?
No. The Bears are going to be they're going to win the division. The Bears.
They unveiled 2 statues of Walter Payton and George Halas. That's nice.
Okay. Up next, my Green Bay Packers. Over under, same as the Bears, 9 wins.
Under.
I'm betting the push on this one. I think 9 sounds about right.
So they went 6-9-1 with an injured Aaron Rodgers. 6-9-1 with an injured Aaron Rodgers. They have a new head coach who was the offensive coordinator in name for the Rams. He was not calling the plays.
He was good on Friends, though, Matt LeBlanc. Sorry.
9. I don't. Oh man, 9. 9's tough.
I don't know. You got to remember, you probably got 4 wins coming from the bottom half of this division.
True.
Then you only got to go 5 and whatever, 5 and 7 from there.
Actually, yeah, I'm looking at the schedule now. I'll give them 9.
Yeah, they're playing the AFC West and the NFC East, I believe. Yeah, I'll go 9. I'll go over 9. Get them to 10.
I'm sticking at 9. I think 9 sounds about right, so I'm betting the push yet again. Mike, where are you at?
I'm saying 9.
All right. Up next, and this is a team. Okay, here we go again. Now this is one that kind of baffles me. The Minnesota Vikings over under total 9 wins.
Under.
Oh, under.
I don't think this team's going to be very good.
Who is even? Is it still Kirk Cousins who's the quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were 8-7-1 last year, and I don't know of anything that made them better. Than they were a year ago.
They're a year older with a bad coach, and I don't know what else you do.
I don't know if they're going to be bad, but they're not getting to 9.
No, I mean,
especially with Chicago playing like it will. Green Bay, a healthy Aaron Rodgers all year would have made that number different too. They're not 9. They're under.
Who is even their coach?
Mike Zimmer.
I just don't see it. I mean, I don't know what they like you said, Zach. I don't know who are they gonna do this with? They got Kirk Cousins and what? They got a couple of good wide receivers. Yeah. I'll say that, but I just don't see it.
Diggs.
I don't see it. I think they're going below 9. I think they're like in a 6-7, maybe 8 win category. Could be even worse if things go the wrong way.
I say 7, 8. Yeah. But yeah.
And finally, the Lions
contend for a spot
for a little while. Finally, the Lions of Detroit over under 7 wins. Are you kidding me?
No, man. Under.
Under.
Like Matt Stafford, I want him to be good. I do like Stafford.
So do I.
A lot, but
I do too.
That team just does not have it. And Matt Patricia didn't disprove the Bill Belichick coaching tree philosophy so far.
I don't know how many times I have to say this, but if you think that anybody other than Bill Belichick coaches every aspect of that team in New England, you are fucking high.
Matt Patricia's too busy riding around on ATVs.
Yeah, I mean, they all come out like he was a coordinator for Belichick. It's like, no, he did what Belichick told him to do. Now, if he learned anything from that, that's great, but he is not the architect. That is so readily apparent because these guys go and they fail everywhere, and Bill just keeps chugging along. So, yeah, I think the Lions, they could really crater this year. I mean, I could see like 2-14, you know? I think Matt Patricia's right up there with Jay Gruden as one of the first coaches to get fired because I don't know. These guys are just bad. They're not even interesting. I mean, at least be interesting. You're just boring, Detroit. Your urinating tree was right about this team.
I'd give them 5. I'd give them 5 wins.
Maybe
at most as like a ceiling.
I mean, look at the start of that schedule. They got the Chargers, Eagles, Chiefs in weeks 2 through 4. Cowboys. I don't know. The pick is 4-12 here. I can see that. I think way under 7. I think way under. I don't think they even come close to 7 wins.
If they have a good season for them, is getting back to 6.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So who do we like in the? We all like in the Bears in the NFC North.
The Bears.
I agree. Bears. I think the Packers will be in the hunt for a wild card. Maybe the Vikings if a lot of things go their way. The Lions. Well, you get to have another year of complete and total irrelevancy. Heading back down south to the NFC South. We'll start out with the Atlanta Falcons. We all remember them as the team that blew a 28-3 lead in Super Bowl, whatever number it was.
They also blew, $10,000 of Headley Lamar's money. And
we'll always be grateful for that.
Yes, as the show Cosmic said, by the end of that game, Headley had become a cautionary tale I tell my children.
Goddamn, we have the best listeners.
When it comes to the South, I don't think we even need to talk about 3 of the 4 teams.
Well, here we go. The Falcons are over under at 8.5. I'm going to go over on that. Barely.
They were bad last year.
8.5.
Barely.
I'll go under say 8. Barely under.
I'm going to say 8. I think 7 or 8 is about right for them. Again,
Matt Ryan, good quarterback, but
is he though? Is he really good? I mean, I'm not trying to say that he's not good, but
no, it's very much like Matt Stafford or Derek Carr. Like, they're talented QBs for sure. Put them on any other in most other situations, and they're probably pretty good. But I just don't think that team has it.
And that Super Bowl. When I don't know if the Falcons got the ball in overtime, I don't think they did, but had they, I can think of like 8 quarterbacks I would have rather had in there than Matt Ryan to run that offense late in that game. Not that he's bad, but he's not a guy that I look at and go, if the game's on the line, I have absolute faith in you. And that's what I got to have in a quarterback, and I don't have it with him.
I don't think he's that either, but I think he's good enough to keep them
competitive.
In the hunt, as we say.
But yeah,
a couple games go their way, could make the playoffs. A couple games don't. They won't. They're on that razor's edge.
I'm looking at them at like 9-7, maybe 10-6, probably in the playoff hunt.
8.
Mike, where are you at on the
7-8?
Okay,
7 or 8. I don't think they're gonna. They're just not really an inspiring bunch, and I've said it before on the show, like, they probably should have blown it up after blowing that Super Bowl, and they haven't. And you've seen it since that Super Bowl season. They've just sort of been like meandering and limping along. They really like that year where they went to the Super Bowl. They had one of the most dynamic offenses in NFL history.
They were fun to watch, and I agree with you. And I don't know why that is. What we refer to as the Olbermann theory. Mm-hmm. I don't know why it is, why it should be that way, but it sure seems to bear out. That when they
lost that Super Bowl, and
and when you get a gut punch like that, you just got to go, okay, that's it. Up next, probably the favorites in the division, the New Orleans Saints, over under total in wins, 10.
I think 10 is probably right.
I'm going to go over on that. I think the Saints are going to be playing with a huge chip on their shoulder this year because of that screw job they got in the NFC title game last year.
I'm familiar.
Look, I don't give a crap about what happened because I will fully admit it was a bad call.
I still wanted the Rams to win. That was my problem.
That being said, it was a bad call, but the way that Saints fans, up to and including a member of Congress, reacted to that, I hope this team craters. I hope Drew Brees' arm falls off, all right? You all acted like a bunch of entitled, spoiled children, suing the NFL to replay the game.
Well, not to mention the fact that they had, how many chances did we count up after that they still could have won and blew every one of them? Yeah, they need to take that stuff and shove it.
And the fact that I remember, that was during, that happened around the time that the government was in a shutdown, right? Because there was that whole holdup between Trump and Congress over the budget,
right?
And so there was the government shutdown looming, and the government is on the verge of shutting down. And what's a congressman from Louisiana spending time on? He's bitching about a bad call in a football game on the floor of the U.S. Congress.
Well, they got the rule changed, so they can look at it now. But
the thing is that,
and that's going to be abused to all hell, and I'm going to hate it.
Yeah, so. We're all going to hate it. It's because, first off, they're not going to know how to do it for the first half of the season, so it's going to slow games down terribly. I agree with you, Mike. I think, especially when you go back and you look at the chances they still had to win after that play. Didn't they get the ball first in overtime?
They did. Brees threw an interception.
Yeah. So sorry, I don't feel any sympathy. I think they're going to be good. I'm going to put them at one win over 10. I think 11. I think they win the division. Zach, what do you think about the Saints? Probably not much.
10. I think 10 is right there. Maybe they go over to 11, but 10 or 11. It's either a push or an over, but it's right there.
Up next, the Carolina Panthers, the team that is perennially impossible to put your finger on. Over under win total 8.
I'm going to go under. I really feel for Cam Newton, but I think that last year was sort of the beginning of the end.
He's coming off-season shoulder surgery, and he had a sprained foot in the preseason, so he's not going to be at his best.
I think they're not going to be the worst because Tampa exists in this division, but I don't think they're ever going to seriously contend.
I would say, I'm going to probably go a little bit under that 8 and go in the 6-7 range with these guys. They've got Christian McCaffrey. He's a good playmaker, but I don't see enough. And I have to see their full schedule, but I just don't see enough for them to go out and get 10, 12 wins and make a serious playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
Zach?
What's their over-under, Carolina?
8.
Under. I like Cam Newton is past his expiration date.
Yeah, he's just beat up now. I mean, and it's kind of a shame. I think he's going to be a lesser extent, but another one of those guys where you go, a what-if guy. Because I think we saw flashes, and plenty of them, but he also had a lot of health issues over the seasons, and I think that he might be a slight bit of a what-if guy. But, yeah. Okay. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, over under 6.5.
Under. This team's going to be bad. This team's going to suck.
I like the hire of Bruce Arians as coach. I don't like Jameis Winston.
Look, I will believe this team will be trending upward when they get out from under Jameis Winston, because Jameis Winston, we have seen it. We have seen enough that I think it's fair to say that he has hit his peak. He's never going to be anything more than what he is. This is a guy who last year, he lost the job to Fitzpatrick, got it back when Fitzpatrick inevitably ran out of steam, and then lost it back to Fitzpatrick because he sucked. Like, this is he is never going to be the type of quarterback that you need to even be competitive. He's overhyped. I get why they kept him around, because Bruce Arians has like a reputation of rehabilitating quarterbacks, or at least getting the best out of them. But I think that he's just not that good. Winston is just never going to be good enough. So I'm saying no to him. The Bucs going to suck. They will win probably 3 to 4 games this year.
Yeah, I'm going under the 6.5 also. Zach, what about you?
Under. Way under.
And who do we like?
That's bad. This is a bad team. Bad team.
Bad team. Bad uniforms, bad everything. So who do we like to win the division, guys? I'm picking the Saints.
As much as I hate it, because I hate their fan base after what happened last year, the Saints are clearly the best team. I'm going to say with a caveat that I think like Drew Brees is kind of reaching the point where we need to start being concerned that he might fall off.
Right.
So in like the worst case scenario where Brees falls off a cliff this year, then I think the Falcons have an outside chance of running away with it. But I think barring a collapse like that, this is easily the Saints' year. Kind of deflated now. I've never felt a sports diss that has cut as deep as that.
Yeah, well, Zach had to go back to work tonight, so we lost him for the last division of our preview here. But as he left, he's like, "Speak highly of the Rams, and Mike, pay your rent." Or he goes, "Tell Mike to pay his rent." I said, "I'm not going to do that because that's mean." But anyway, let's get this NFC West banged out, Mike, and then we can wrap this thing up. So
sounds good. Who's starting with?
At the very top, speaking of the Rams, they are the first team in the NFC West. Win total over under 10 this year.
Honestly, looking at this, I think they're going to be one of, if not the top teams in the NFC again.
I agree completely.
I don't really see any reason to think that they're going to be worse than last year. So really the only thing that I think could potentially be a problem for them is if you start getting coaches who figure out how to play against a Sean McVay coach team. So that's really the only concern is now with 2 full seasons with him at the helm, can the league collectively sort of catch up to him? I don't know the answer to that.
I kind of do. I think that he is very good at adjusting.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps. I think you're going to find teams that are going to go, look, we've got this thing nailed. We know how to beat it. Because that's going to happen to everybody. But I think McVay is very good at going, okay, this isn't working. I'm going to shift it on the fly and we're going to try something else. A lot of coaches, they come with that game plan and that is it. They are married to it. It is like, Moses come down with the stones off the mountain. We're not changing it. McVay's not one of those guys. So that's one thing I like that he has going for him in that respect.
That is true. And also, anyone who's really kind of followed the Rams has kind of knows that they are that he's a very smart guy. He's very football savvy, and he's not only smart when it comes to football, but he knows what but he's smart in the way that he knows how the current game is played. He's kind of like the anti-kid in a way.
Exactly.
I picked them to win the division a few years back, and which ended up kind of being a surprise, I guess, mini victory for me because they were still kind of coming off of the Fisher years.
Right.
I don't know. I really like this Rams team. I think they're going to be near the top of the standings again. I'm picking them to win this division at least. So over 10. The big problem, I think what's interesting is that they're getting kind of a first place schedule.
Right.
But then again, I'm looking at their schedule.
They had a first place schedule last year too.
Yeah, and I'm looking at their schedule this year, and it doesn't seem as daunting as you'd think it is. So I think that they are going to win the division, and it's all, I guess, going to be – I guess it all kind of depends on, like, Jared Goff. Like, can Sean McVay continue to get the most out of him? Because – I don't know. It might be a case where if Goff kind of regresses this year, then maybe there are some questions, and you start thinking, like, does Sean McVay try to find a quarterback who's like his guy?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think Goff fits his system pretty well, honestly, and I think they're just loaded with talent. Mm-hmm. They've got the right kind of players. You know, they're also getting a Cooper Kupp's coming back this year to be fully healthy. Who's going to be huge, as a slot receiver for them. The defense is going to be tough. I think they're the easy pick to win this division, and I like them going well over 10 wins. I think I can see them winning 12 to 13 this year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be pretty good. The only thing that the only thing that's kind of just nagging me about it is the way that the Patriots kind of like utterly shut them down in the Super Bowl. But then again, like the Rams shut the Patriots down too. That's what made the Super Bowl so weird, was that like the Patriots really did shut down Sean McVay's offense, but at the same time, like the Rams defense did their jobs pretty well too. Like the Patriots only scored 10 points? 13 points? 13 points. I mean, you've got to figure, if you go into a game and you're like, you are going to hold the Tom Brady led New England Patriots 13 points, you're like, oh, I'll take that any day.
Well, I think we even said it.
It just so happened that the Patriots defense just really showed up. So
we said last year after the game that all of us said that if you had said the Rams were going to hold the Patriots to 13 points, we would have all said, well, they must have blown out the Patriots then, because there was just no way. But yeah, I think the Rams are still probably the class of the NFC. Maybe I don't think the Saints are quite up there with them. So I'm going to go over. Zach also says he's going over with the Rams because, of course. Let's move on to the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, I fucking hate these guys.
So do I. Over under total 8.5.
Yes, the Texans trading clowning. I'm like, fuck you, Houston. Like, really?
Yeah, to Seattle. I mean, did he have to go there? Anyway,
I hate this team. I hate Russell Wilson. I hate everything about it. They're still probably going to be the second best team in the division because.
I'm going over. I think they still go 9-7.
God, and they're still going to make the playoffs, and it's going to be frustrating. I just don't like these guys.
I don't either. I really don't. But I think they've got enough talent to be a playoff contender. I don't think they're a serious Super Bowl contender. I think they're another example of they needed to blow it up and didn't. But they're going to be in the hunt. I'll say that. I got them going over barely. I got them going 9-7. So
9's about right.
Zach says he's going with a push over on the Seahawks. So we're all agreement on that. The San Francisco 49ers, this is an interesting team to me. I know a lot of people are like, oh, this is the year, the 49ers, blah, 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 blah. They got Jimmy Garoppolo. They've had these drafts that they weren't supposed to get, higher round draft picks and all that. I'm still not seeing a whole lot. I'm sorry. Their over-under total is 8.5. I could see that maybe. But you've got a lot of stuff, but you've got a lot of stuff that's never worked together before.
The thing about it is that Garoppolo has yet to really prove himself. Like when he was traded to the 49ers, he came in and reeled off 5 wins at the end of that season, but it was all against bad teams. Right. And then the next year when he's got a full year with them, he didn't have the most inspiring start before he got injured. So I really don't know what to make of him. And I would say, I don't know. It's one of those cases where I've got to say, like, I can't pick you until you've proven what, you know, you're real. And as much as I hate the Seahawks, they have at least, you know, proven that they can be a consistent playoff contender.
Yep.
Whereas, the 49ers have not been able to do that since that one year they went to the Super Bowl.
I mean, they're a very intriguing team. I mean, they've got a lot of things where you go, they could be very good, but I don't know that. I mean, maybe in another year, because they've got all this stuff, but none of it's ever been put together because, like, Garoppolo was hurt last year. You just don't know. But I'm going to say I'm going under on the 8.5 wins with them. I think they're more like in the 7, 9, 6, and 10 range again this year.
Yeah, I'd say that.
I'd like them a lot better next year when they've got a year under their belt if Garoppolo stays healthy and they've got a year to, like, work everything out. Then I like them a lot better next year. Zach's got them under as well. And so I guess we're all going under on the San Francisco 49ers. And finally, I believe your your Arizona Cardinals.
Arizona Cardinals, the first team to realize that they need to get the hell out of St. Louis.
Right. Win total over under 5.5. I believe
under.
that is the lowest we've had so far.
Under. They're going to go under it. This is a bad team. This is a very, very bad team. And it's run by idiots. Like,
well, you've got a brand new coach that was fired from Texas Tech and Cliff Kingsbury. Mm-hmm. You've got a rookie quarterback, Kyler Murray, second straight number 1 out of Oklahoma. You know, the next Baker Mayfield supposedly, and all this other shit. But I think they're going to go below 5 wins. This is a really, really bad team. They're going to be exciting at times. You're going to see some really cool stuff, but it's not going to be near consistent enough for them to be good. And this is one of those cases where, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's like the Bengals, where last year was so mismanaged. Yeah. That this year is just going to be the new staff coming in and going like, what do we got? What do we got? Like, this is we have no expectations for this year. Let's just see what we've got, and we'll go on, and we'll go from there. Yep, I agree. I agree completely. I mean, yeah. And the thing is like last year, like, they fired their coach of 1 year after a season. So that's another thing that bothers me. And traded a quarterback they drafted in the first round as well last year. Yeah. That's the thing that really sort of, and the thing that really bothers me about it is that, like, aside from that one, you know, run of success that they had with Kurt Warner and Carson Palmer, they have, like, the Bidwells have proven that they can't really sustain success. They can't really continuously make it work. So, yeah, this is going to be a bad bottom of the barrel team. I will tell you that I am 58 years old. I've been following the NFL for 50 of those 58 years. In my lifetime, the Cardinals have been good twice. It was in the early 70s when they had a guy named Jim Hart playing quarterback for them. They had a receiver named, I believe it was Mel Gray or Mel Green, I don't remember. Mm-hmm. And a running back named, Otis Anderson was there for a while, but that was later on. What was his name? His kid played for the Browns. Terry McAuliffe. No, not McAuliffe. It doesn't matter. Anyway, twice in my life, they've been decent. That's it. That is it. In 58 years of football, they've been good twice. So that's the kind of organization you're looking at here. I think they go under that 5.5. I mean, they're gonna win a couple games they shouldn't, because Kyler Murray's gonna go out there and do crazy stuff. But they're no threat to do anything more than 4 or 5 wins, I think, at the most. So, and who do we like in the division? We all in on the Rams? Yeah, Rams. Okay, and finally, who do we like to make the Super Bowl out of the NFC? I don't think it's as clear-cut as the AFC, where I think for the AFC, it's the Patriots, and then you have like a few curious teams that could make noise. But in the NFC, I think it's going to be kind of boring, because it's the same thing that held true last year, which is that I think it's going to be like a 3-way between the Rams, the Saints, and the Eagles. I know you and Zach picked the Cowboys to win the NFC East. I still think the Eagles could be that team.
but I think there's more upside to the Rams than any of their rivals because, Drew Brees, again, great quarterback, but he's getting up there in age, so he's not going to be able to do this forever. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I like him to kind of drop off quicker than Tom Brady does, just based off of the style of play.
Right, yeah, and he's another one like Brady, where if he gets hurt, the Saints are in a bunch of trouble. I think, is it Teddy Bridgewater their backup? I'm not even sure. But,
I believe so, yes. Yeah. But like the whole thing with, so I think like the Rams are younger. I think they've got a smarter coach. I mean, I'll take Sean McVay over Sean Payton any day.
Yeah, me too.
When it comes to just like football smarts, I think they've got a younger team. I think player for player, it's a more talented team. I think that honestly, the reason why that blown call in the NFC title game hurt the Saints so much is because that was probably their last chance to really contend on an equal footing. I think, I'm not saying this is going to be the Rams conference from here on out for the foreseeable future, but I think that we will probably not be seeing the Drew Brees-led Saints as a dominant team.
Much longer.
I still think they're going to be probably the best team this year unless Brees just falls off. But I think that they're going to take a step back, and they're never really going to make up that lost ground.
Yeah,
this is going to be
the Rams are definitely set up better for sustained success than the Saints are right now.
Oh yeah, and so as boring as it is, and I know a lot of people maybe don't want to hear it because last year's Super Bowl was not the most exciting affair. But I honestly think the smart money has to be on Patriots-Rams 2. Or I guess Patriots-Rams 3 if you count the first one from 2001.
Right, I'm with you. I think it's a rematch of last year. Zach has he has the same thing, Rams and Patriots. I mean, you just can't pick against the Patriots. You just can't because, my God, it's been, 20 years now? Of just sheer dominance. It's ridiculous. So, anyway, so that's going to do it, folks. That is the AFC NFC preview. We will be back next week with one of my favorite episodes of the year, Overreaction Monday in the National Football League.
Overreaction Monday.
Oh, those are always the best. Always the best. It's so much fun.
Everyone knows that their team is doomed
right.
going to the Super Bowl, and everyone knows exactly how to fix it.
It is the best. My favorite week of the year is Overreaction Monday. I just love it.
Overreaction Monday is perhaps only topped by like the day after the first games of the NHL because hockey fans and football fans are a lot more similar than I think people give them credit for.
Because you know that some terrible team is going to go out and just beat the daylights out of somebody good in this first week, and everybody's going to be like, "I told you, watch the Giants with Edsel Smith at quarterback. Wait and see." And it happens every year. Some team that like we all thought was going to be
the Dolphins with Fitzpatrick, they're going to go like 3-0.
Yeah.
Watch it happen. And everyone's going to – and then it's going to –
maybe the Patriots come out and trip over themselves and lose the first game, and everybody's like, "Oh, told you they're done this year." But Overreaction Monday will be great. In the meantime, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. Subscribe via iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. Go Packers, go Browns, go Buckeyes. And we will see you next week on Basically a Sports Show.
War Eagle. And again, fuck you, Oregon.
And for Zach, I will say go Rams.
Go Chargers. Battle LA 2019. Let's do it.
All righty. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you next week.